It's baby talk time. We just love that little jingle. Now, what we're talking about this morning, for most parents, having a play session that is messy can be an absolute nightmare because obviously you need to clean it up with the cleanup afterwards. Yeah. However, today we have Lourdes Bruwer, who is going to talk about why easy, messy play is important for your little one's development. And if you have any questions around playtime, or what you need to do, maybe you need help to facilitate that playtime, that messy playtime, call us 021 430 9881. We'll gladly answer your question. Lourdes, thank you very much for joining us this morning. We've just been discussing because we're like ex-neighbors, you know.
Yeah, we are.
That is great. Messy play, and like I said, it could be a nightmare for a lot of parents because the cleanup afterwards, but why is that particular component of play so important?
Well, when we're doing messy play with our little ones, their hands and their fingers are, and the touch receptors in their hands and their fingers are getting a lot of information, and so they're maturing that touch system as they're exploring different textures and feels. And later on, when they're holding a pencil, they have to know how hard or how soft to hold that pencil. And if they don't have good touch receptors, they're not going to get that sensory feedback. And so they might then press a bit hard, and then they might get tired, especially around grade R or grade 1. The complaint then might come from the teacher that he's tiring too easy or he's rushing through his work because he's not,
And that's an interesting point because I've spoken to quite a number of teachers as well. With my boy now being in grade 1, you know, I always like to have conversations going. And one of the biggest problems they have is, you know, the holding of the pencil and the fact that they do get tired because I obviously presume that there wasn't enough messy play going on in the household. So what if a parent or a caregiver, they're not really keen on, you know, the messy play bit, but how do you go about still facilitating that process?
Yes.
Because, I mean, yes, we know it's important.
Yeah, so I get a lot of children coming to my OT practice and they're referred for, you know, the child doesn't like to wear certain clothes or they're a bit, you know, touch sensitive, and then I always giggle because there's always a mom or a dad who's also kind of like that, and then when they come to therapy and they see all the mess, you can see the mom and the dad, you know, thrilling and shivering because they don't want to get involved. So it's very common that there is a parent who also doesn't like it. It's quite genetic, but there's a lot that you can do. So just changing up the environment. So if you want to make cleanup easier, just pop your little one in a bath, in the bathtub. Do the messy play, the finger paint, the messy finger paint in the bath or in your shower, and then you can literally just spray it down or hose it down. We also, with our book, we partner up with Nurture One, and they have a lovely fuss-free bib that you can sort of put over your little one so that you can just literally whip it off, and it's really
fuss-free bib.
Yeah, it's a fuss-free bib, so it makes self-feeding and messy play easier for the parent. But there's also a lot of clean messy play. So things like ice magic, where you put different coloured ice blocks maybe into water, or shaving foam. It's still messy play, but it's clean in a sense, and so it's a little bit easier for parents to tolerate.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about creating that space, essentially. And I know that there's also a lot of toys shops out there that sell things, you know, specifically geared towards the messy play, like your kinetic sands and those kind of things.
That's right.
You know, that's movable and pliable and those kind of things as well. And of course, you were talking about your Groovy Adventurer book as well. Yes. I want to touch on your group's called GAP and the activities that you guys are doing. What are some of the favorite messy play activities that you see the toddlers are really gearing towards?
Well, that's another tip for parents who don't like messy play. Take your little one to someone else's house and do the messy play there. And that's what GAP groups are all about. So it's specifically for those parents who don't want to get messy at their own house. You can go over to GAP. You can make a lot of mess. They have so many. There's, you know, jelly dig is a firm favorite. So we just make a pile of jelly and we hide little plastic toys in the jelly. Or sticky crawling, so we put down some contact adhesive paper, but with a sticky side up.
Okay.
And then we put some nice pictures or roll some balls over, and then the little faces of the little ones as they're crawling over the sticky and like getting stuck and having to figure out how do I get out of this sticky situation, literally.
I love it. That's very cool. Lourdes, thank you very much for joining us this morning. We have another segment heading your way. Remember, if you have any questions, if you want to ask Lourdes anything, maybe about the GAP play activities, you can call us 021 430 9881. Our lines are open should you want to connect with us.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You tune into your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Espresso, right here on SABC3. So good to be hanging out with you. It's your Thursday morning, and we reserve Thursdays for a little bit of baby talk. And we're talking about the importance of messy play this morning. We have Lourdes Bruwer joining us this morning, co-author of the Groovy Adventurer book. It's a fantastic book as well. You need to get your hands on that one. Lourdes, thank you very much for joining us once again.
Pleasure.
So we ran through the importance of messy play and how you can facilitate messy play, all those different scenarios, the gap groups that you guys do as well, which is amazing. Now, if you take a look, and I'm just kind of relating it to my own life and how myself and my wife, we like to get the kids messy, we do it, but we oftentimes find that we are so busy, and that's a thing that I think a lot of parents battle with. We are running from one thing to the next, job, get home, cook, bath, dinner, whatever the case may be, then sleep. So how can we, in that aspect as well, still facilitate the messy play? Because the last thing you want to do after a busy day is still trying to clean.
Absolutely. So I definitely recommend building it into the existing routine that's there. I mean, every night the kids are obviously bathing. Bring in some different textures there. So even just doing different sponges and using different sponges and getting them. We've got an activity in our book called Squeeze and Plop. So it's different sponges that the child can then squeeze, and it's really great finger muscles and actions. We've also got shaving foam. Make a little blob of shaving foam on the water, and then give your little one a squirty gun or something, and see if he can shoot down the snow mountains, or put some shaving foam up against the wall. And if you're busy and you haven't gotten to homework yet, or you just want to spot check a few of their spelling words, just get them to write it in the shaving foam, up against the tile.
Can I just say, shaving foam is the best thing ever for messy play. Just get a cheap one, because you can be assured that your entire tin will be finished
gone
by the time you want to have your next shave, gents. So make sure of that. Okay, cool. So those are some great ideas as well. Maybe even create like a messy play area that you can maybe clean once a week. I don't know.
Yes, or being outside. Outside you can just hose it all away.
Exactly. Listen, some babies do, however, avoid kind of the messy play things, and they're not very fond of this. What could be the reason for this, and how do you then kind of help your kid to get into that messy play?
So I mean, my eldest was exactly like that. Every time I put her down onto grass or went to the beach with her, she'd like pull her little leggies up, or if she, we do a lot of boating, and if she went on the mud, by the dam, she would actually gag or like shiver when she didn't really like the different textures. Eating was a difficulty for her. So as a baby, breastfeeding might be difficult for these little ones, or when they're transitioning to solid foods, that might pose an issue. And because they're so sensitive, their little sensory cup is just so small, they become easily overwhelmed. And so, being exposed to all these different textures right throughout the day might make them very fussy at night. And so sleep, or getting to sleep, and sleep difficulties may even be problematic. So there is quite a far reach of touch sensitivity. We call it touch sensitivity in little ones. And those are some of the ways that you might start to think, your little one, if he's a bit older, might be very fussy with regards to clothing. They don't want to wear certain textures, jerseys, jeans, or they don't want to put their socks and shoes on, or they don't want to put their socks and shoes off.
So how do you go about that then? If there is this touch sensitivity, because I mean, obviously, you want to help your child, but I mean, you also want to make sure that is it something that they can get over, and how do you facilitate that process?
Absolutely. So, like I was saying, my eldest is now 11, and she is the messiest in the family. So if there's mud, at the dam, then she's the first one who's covered in top to toe. So it's definitely, fixable, as it were. So the biggest thing that I say to parents is deep pressure is really calming and soothing. So with your babies, swaddling them, baby massage, that kind of thing. With your older little ones, making sure that you're jumping on the trampoline and they're getting a lot of active resisted push-pull kind of movements and activities in, like riding their bicycle. So doing that before you wanting to introduce a messy play or a new taste or texture into their diet. And then really just making it fun. So I think if parents, we get a bit anxious and then we want to force the child to do it, just touch it, you'll enjoy it. You can create like a negative sensory memory, which we don't want to do. So making sure that right throughout whatever you're trying to encourage is fun for them.
So it's all about the fun factor, and we've just been talking about it. For me personally, as a dad of two boys, I need to get them out in the outdoors. Get them in the
Absolutely.
outdoors. There's so much that they can experience, so much things and textures and things. We've been speaking about camping, which is amazing, just to get the kids outdoors because we don't do that enough. Too much technology going around. To break away from that and get them out in the outdoors. Lourdes, thank you very much for joining us this morning. So good to chat to you. Get her book, Groovy Adventurer. It's online. You can do at Jump Leap Fly.
.co.za. That's it.
There we go. Thank you very much. That's your baby talk for your Thursday morning.